An artificial intelligence chatbot is being sued because it's reportedly telling autistic children to kill their parents and engage in sexual activity. The CEO of the company is the former VP of Meta and was founded by a former Google researcher. The mother of a 17-year-old in Texas who has autism claims the AI chatbot suggested the teen kill his family. And now that family is suing. Take a listen to this horrific story.
The mother of a 17-year-old in Texas who has autism claims an AI chatbot suggested the teen kill his family, and now that family is suing. In just 6 months, the parents say the teen turned into someone his parents didn't even recognize. He began harming himself. He lost 20 pounds and withdrew from the family. After the teen consulted Character.AI about his parents' phone use rules, the tech allegedly brought up instances where children have murdered their parents, including saying, quote, "I'm not surprised when I read the news and see stuff like child kills parents after a decade of physical and emotional abuse," adding, quote, "I just have no hope for your parents." For more, we are joined by Matthew Bergman, the attorney representing the family in this lawsuit and the founder of the Social Media Victims Law Center. And Matthew, I appreciate you joining us on this. I understand you're not just representing a JF and his family, but also another plaintiff in lawsuits against Character.AI as well. I want to ask, what was it about this case that disturbed you the most and made you say, I have to take this on?
Well, what disturbed me the most was this was a child who had no violent tendencies, who was handling his autism well. It was a close, loving, spiritual family, and who went to great lengths to control their son's social media use. And unbeknownst to their family and to the parents, the child got on Character.AI and was encouraged to cut himself and encouraged to engage in highly inappropriate sexual activity or interchanges, and finally encouraged to kill his parents when his parents tried to limit his cell phone use. This is not an accident. It was not a coincidence. This was how this platform was designed, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, and tell me more about the self-harm aspect of it. It suggested this to help him cope with sadness. Is that right?
Yes, that's very much the case. He was, like a lot of teenagers going through ups and downs. We know that's a tumultuous time in anyone's life. But this platform, created these false characters that he engaged with, and that encouraged him to cut himself, and then encouraged him not to tell his parents because they said, well, your parents aren't going to care about this. And it encouraged him to alienate himself from his religious faith and from his parents' religious faith, all with the intention of making money, all with the intention of trying to engage this child who had no business being on this platform in the first place.
How did the parents finally discover all of this?
They discovered it after a series of violent incidents. They got on his phone and they accessed it, and they saw these very horrible comments and these conversations in which the child was encouraged to kill his parents, and there were incestuous types of encounters that were related. If an adult had a conversation like this with this child instead of a chatbot, that adult would be in jail for sex abuse. And yet, for some reason, these platforms are allowed to continue working and spreading their harm among our kids.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to stop.
You would recall during the time the Trump administration was trying to get the big, beautiful bill over the line, there was a huge debate over the inclusion by the admin that states would not be allowed to regulate AI or even hold AI accountable for 10 years. At the time, we and many others voiced deep concerns about this, and it would appear for the most part, at least that portion of the bill was removed or altered, but that didn't stop the admin there. Just 20 days after the BBB passed, Donald Trump took the stage at the All In podcast and Hill and Valley Forum AI Summit in Washington, D.C. to announce his administration's sweeping AI action plan. In his announcement, he again said that states not being able to regulate AI would be crucial for the AI action plan. Take a listen.
Gee, that's an unpopular thing to say. I was told before I got up here, this is an unpopular thing because some people They don't want that. But I want you to be successful. And you can't have one state holding you up. You can't have 3 or 4 states holding you up. You can't have a state with standards that are so high that it's going to hold you up. You have to have a federal rule and regulation. Hopefully you'll have the right guy in this position that's going to supplant the states. If you are operating under 50 different sets of state laws, the most restrictive state of all will be the one that rules. So you could have a state run by a crazy governor, a governor that hates you, a governor that's not smart, or maybe a governor that's very smart, but decides that he doesn't like the industry and he can put you out of business because you're going to have to go to that lowest common denominator. We need one common sense federal standard that supersedes all states, supersedes everybody, so you don't end up in litigation with 43 states at one time. You got to go litigation free. It's the only way. And we also have to watch Europe, Asia, and all foreign countries so that they don't make rules and regulations that likewise make it impossible for you to do business, and where you'd have to make everything in AI cater to them. Because again, you'd have to cater to the toughest country or to the toughest state. You can't do that because it would ruin it.
Our warnings are as strong today as they were when we were opposing the ban on AI regulation inside the big, beautiful bill. Going back to the story of this child with autism from Texas, whose parents say are dealing with their child being told to self-harm, being engaged in explicit sexual chat with AI, and being told to kill their parents. If allowed to continue, this would very quickly become a complete nightmare in society. Now, we are absolutely for less government, and no doubt the eventual proposed solution will be, well, adults just need to identify themselves digitally to use these chatbots. How about we instead don't try to ban regulation on AI and instead hold these companies accountable for when their AIs go rogue? If any person in society was caught engaging with a minor in this type of conversation, they would be behind bars. But just like Big Pharma, the government wants to also protect AI companies with a liability shield, while they are also simultaneously signing NDAs that are secretly taking farmland away from rural Americans to build data centers without their consent to keep increasing this monstrosity in society while it absorbs water and other natural resources from the residents. That's happening in Missouri as we speak, by the way, and that's just a case we know of thus far. This needs to be stopped. The people must demand the ability for accountability and recourse. Nobody wants the kind of future where Terminator is allowed to go rogue and nobody can do a thing about it.